Hi y'all, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, hi, I'm Melody, and on this channel I like to discuss fragrances every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So if that's something you enjoy, I would love it if you would subscribe. Today I am sharing some fragrances that we got our daughters for their upcoming birthday. If you're interested, please keep watching. So my oldest and youngest have birthdays that are 2 days apart from each other. One will be turning 10 and the other will be turning 6. Now before you say 6 is a little young for fragrance, I'm totally aware, but this is a hobby that I just started about a year ago and they go everywhere with me. And so when we go into fragrance stores or anywhere where I'm testing out perfumes, they come along with and they sample things and they give me their opinions on it. So I don't think that age really plays a factor. And my daughters don't spray a whole lot of fragrance. They don't go out and about wearing 10, 15 sprays. My youngest sprays once on her wrist and she taps it together, which I know you're not supposed to do, but at this point I think that's enough fragrance for her. So she taps it together and she dabs it on her ears, which I just think is the sweetest thing. So they each got 2 fragrances, and I think I will start with my youngest. So she is very particular and she knows exactly what she wants and she will tell you what she wants. And that might change from day to day. I think in the last week she's probably told me about 20 different things she wants for her birthday. But these 2 things she has mentioned every single day. The first one that she had asked for was Moschino Toy 2. Now, I think it was probably less to do with the fragrance itself and more to do with its bottle. It looks like a cute little teddy bear. And we got her the 1 ounce one because she doesn't go through fragrance very fast. Now, I have opened all of the boxes, smelled them. I've even taken a 1 ml decant out of each of them so that I could wear it and see how I felt about it. So I did sneak a little bit from this because I'm the mom and I can do that. I sprayed this on myself, and at first spray it reminded me of Dolce & Gabbana's L'Imperatrice. And if anybody has stuck around and watched a number of my videos or even one, you might know that that's a fragrance that I love on the card but hate on my skin. So this comes off kind of like rotten fruit on me. However, it smelled lovely on my daughter when she sprayed it at the store, and so she has no problems with it. So I did look up some of the reviews and some things that were mentioned about it online. It does have magnolia in it, which is a scent that I also don't really care for, but it said that magnolia can pull lemony, um, but also kind of waxy, and I get a little bit of both of that in there. I don't get much of the apple, and to my nose it smelled kind of like lemon pledge, although there's no lemon in it. The only citrus is mandarin orange. So this was a bit of a bizarre fragrance for me. It's definitely not something that I would have in my collection, but my daughter really loves it. And I don't know if it's as much about the fragrance as it is about the bottle. Now, I think the second could be said about Good Girl. So before you make any judgments that I got our 6-year-old daughter, Good Girl, she loved the bottle of Good Girl. She loves the little shoe. But I did think that this fragrance might be a little bit mature for her. And her favorite one was the red one. But she loves spraying all of them. And so I actually went about finding the hair mist. So I saw in Fragrantica that this was a much lighter version of the original and also a lot more affordable for a 6-year-old. Just in case she drops it or breaks it, I don't feel like we've lost too much. But it still has that beautiful little shoe silhouette. Now, Good Girl is not a fragrance that I care for much, but my daughter actually really loves it and she'll ask for it to be sprayed every time she's there. But her favorite is the red one. But I will mention in a second why we didn't go with a red one. I mean, beyond the fact that, like, I don't think she needs a Good Girl fragrance at this time in her life. But I did smell this and I sprayed it once on my skin, and it is so much lighter. And I must say, this might be my preferred Good Girl fragrance. There's something about it that is softer and I think more put together. I find Good Girl to be kind of screechy and like kind of a mess, in my opinion. I don't think of Good Girl as a fragrance that I'd ever really want for that reason. But I think this one is something that is much nicer, and so I'll probably wind up sneaking into her collection to spray it occasionally. But I think she'll really love having a little shoe in her collection. Now on to my oldest. So she's turning 10 and she had been asking for a fragrance, and this is kind of how it all started. I thought since she was 10 that I would like to get her something a little nicer than some body sprays or like a Five Below dupe, which is something else that we've gotten. So I wanted to get her a nice fragrance because she's always been a trooper going into all the stores with me, testing fragrances even when she really doesn't feel like doing it. But the one she would always go back to was Angel Nova. Now, this is the reason why I didn't even consider getting the red Very Good Girl for my youngest, because I think both of these fragrances smell very similar and they share fragrances with one another. So having two fragrances that smelled almost exactly alike seemed rather silly to me. We got our oldest the 1 ounce because these are refillable. I figured we'd get her the 1 ounce, and if she used that up, then we could get her a refill bottle. So I wore this for a day and I really actually enjoyed it. I'm not the biggest fan of rose fragrances, although those might be one of my daughter's favorite. Both of them actually really love rose. In fact, we went to Neiman Marcus and their favorite fragrance there was Delina. So I said, good luck paying for that one. So this is definitely very similar to Delina. It is bright and cheerful. It's got more of a watery rose, so I think that's what makes me enjoy this. It's not like an old screechy rose. Most rose fragrances come off really sharp and screechy to me, but this one was actually quite lovely, and I think I might go and sneak into her collection and borrow this a time or two. I do think of this as maybe smelling younger, and that it was a good choice for my daughter. Now originally they were each just going to get one fragrance, but then when I found this one was back in stock, I had to snatch it up. It's the Billie Eilish fragrance. A little backstory on this. I do not pay attention to modern music. I stick with some old pop and R&B and rap from the 90s and early 2000s, and then the rest of the music I listen to is like Christian or older country. So I was familiar with Billie Eilish only in name. I don't think I had ever listened to any of her music, but my dad, he keeps up with modern music, and so he's a fan. And so while we were in town visiting my dad, he sat with my daughter and they watched all of her music videos. I think they even watched like a documentary on her, and so she really got into Billie Eilish over the winter break. And when I saw that this was back in stock, I snatched it up immediately. But my parents are giving it to her because it was something that my dad and her kind of bonded over. So I let them know about it, and so they said that they would give this to her. And I think that the bottle is actually really beautiful. I think that is probably the best thing about this fragrance is the bottle, which is not saying much. So I just think that it's such a stunning bottle. It would look beautiful on a vanity, and it's substantial. It's heavy, especially for a celebrity fragrance, but it is nice. But it smells like warm vanilla sugar. That's what I get from this fragrance. It smells just like the Bath and Body Works warm vanilla sugar. It's a very basic sweet. Now, a lot of people drag this fragrance. I don't know too many people who actually really enjoyed this fragrance in the fragrance community, but I don't think it was meant for people who are obsessed with fragrances. I think it's made specifically for her key demo, which is basically my daughter's age and maybe like 15-year-olds. Like, I don't think that this was made for 20, 30, and 40-year-olds to be bashing online and saying that it's not a fragrance for them. It is just that. It is a nice vanilla fragrance for young girls. For that reason, I think it's a really nice fragrance. I think the bottle is also just lovely. I did want to mention though, I did take a note that in the very deep dry down, like deep dry down, I almost smelled something that smelled like Cocoa Puffs, because I believe there is a cocoa note in here as well, which I didn't pick up till that very end, which is kind of fun. So if you happen to like the smell of Cocoa Puffs, maybe pick this one. I'm sure there's other fragrances out there that have that scent as well. But if you like the bottle and you like a kind of basic vanilla, this is a great fragrance. But also, if you know anyone who really loves Billie, it's also a very nice gift. So I purchased this, and I got it on Billie's website, and I paid a stupid amount for shipping. And then like 2 weeks later, it was on Ulta's website, and it came as a set with some other stuff, like fan thing, and I could have gotten points for it. And anyways, you live and you learn. So that was a little bit of a disappointment. I think that was the part that made me probably the most bitter, is that I bought it on her website and you can't return it, and it took forever. I mean, you spend that much in shipping, you should probably get it in a couple of days, and it took like 2 weeks to get to me. So that was a little bit of a bummer. But we ordered these in plenty of time. Their birthday is next week, I think, based off of when this video is coming out. But we'll probably wind up waiting on their birthday till our middle daughter gets out of the hospital. So my oldest wants to do a video with me sharing her whole perfume collection, and I've kept waiting and putting it off and telling her to wait just so that she can add these fragrances to that video. But that is my daughter's new perfumes that we're giving them for their birthdays. I know I'm probably going to get a little bit of heat on it. I know a lot of people have strong opinions on what age people should start wearing perfumes and all of that. But as their mother, I thought that this is a hobby that I enjoy sharing with them, and these are the fragrances that I think they'll like most. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, give it a like. If you recommend any fragrances that are suited for a younger audience, I'd love it if you would drop those down below. If you are enjoying my videos, I would love it if you would subscribe. And if you wanted to support me in any other way, I have a Buy Me a Coffee link down in the description below. I really hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a blessed day. Bye.